On November 12th, just a few weeks ago, a 10-year mission of the European Space Agency came to an eventful peak as a probe named Philae landed on Comet 67P, Churyumov-Gerasimenko, making this the first ever landing on a comet. I'm sure you all read the news stories and you may have found it neat or even pretty cool, or if you're like me, you thought it was the best thing since man walked on the moon. But other than it being a cool feat for the ESA, what are the overall implications of something happening 800 million miles away on a relatively small chunk of rock that is hurtling through our solar system at 84,000 miles an hour? A lot, actually. Rosetta's mission rings in a new era of asteroid mining, which is a science fiction idea that private investors have been kicking around until now. Now we see the physical proof of the possibility of landing on a comet, and now we have mineral analysis of the surface of a comet proving that they are packed with minerals. And now we see many people and many companies from around the world, from the country of Japan to the enigmatic Elon Musk, jumping on board the idea of asteroid mining. With a whole new field of solar system mining suddenly swinging open, we'll also see with it come a huge influx of employment opportunities. This is just one way that traveling into space is a positive force for humankind. Space travel has and will always continue to be that positive force that pushes us to be the best we can be and improve the standard of living across the globe. From the Apollo missions to the present, space travel pushed what was possible for us as humans, not just in space, but here on Earth as well. The ultimate reason to go into space is often also seen as very abstract. Most people in their everyday life don't need to know how the Earth was formed or what exactly dark matter does. But science plays an essential role in our lives. With science, we can understand how to better our lives and how we can use the power of our universe or our solar system to our advantage. Already the Rosetta mission has turned science on its head by telling us that comets are in fact not covered in ice or have icy cores, but are rather solid rock through and through. This is how we discover new things and advance our knowledge, and we need science to advance ourselves as a civilization. Could you imagine if we still thought the Earth was the center of the solar system? Or if we all still believed that when the sun set in the evening it had died, and if we didn't pray hard enough during the night, it would never come back? We wouldn't have had the time to invent an internal combustion engine if we were spending all of our time praying for the sun to come back to life. And that's just what science really gives us. It gives us the insight we need to invent ways to make our lives and our world a better place. Unfortunately, because it feels so abstract, science has a few enemies. Many people who just don't think that it's important, or maybe feel like we don't have the time or the money. Many politicians and well-meaning people say that funding for NASA is just not a priority right now, and that during the financial crisis we should focus on more practical ways to spend our government's budget. According to Scott Hubbard, professor of aeronautics and astronautics at Stanford University and former director of the NASA Ames Research Center, for every dollar spent on the space program, the U.S. economy receives 8 in return. This shows that while we cut fundings for space exploration as we tighten our belts, we are actually doing the opposite of what we intended. NASA's budget for this year is $17 billion. That's some $136 billion that could be poured into the economy. A fearful economy with no imagination and no excitement for the future breeds consumers that are afraid to spend. On the other side of this coin, we see how space travel influences another big part of our economy, technology. Without space exploration, we miss out on technologies that can completely alter our way of life. When traveling to space, there are many challenges met that have never been thought of before, like how to sustainably power the systems without access to gas stations, or how to grow food in the International Space Station, which gives us valuable time and resources to research things such as solar power or growing food in extreme and harsh conditions, all of which can be turned around almost immediately and applied here on Earth. Cell phones, GPS, the internet, cable TV, these are just a few things you use every day that would have been impossible without space. With space travel, we also see huge developments in remote sensing and long-distance communications. The ESA's Rosetta mission was completely dependent on using remote sensing through the probe and the launcher. This technology of probes and rovers can and are being used here on Earth to do pretty much anything deemed too dangerous for humans. We send robotic submarines to the bottom of the oceans, into caves, and even volcanoes. Even more important developments coming from Rosetta missions are the mineral analysis of the comet's surface. Comets are rich in valuable minerals. For Comet 67P, the team at ESA is hoping to find a solid chunk of usable material, though the mineral analysis has not yet been completed. This could open up a whole new door of interstellar mining, bringing with it untold technology advancement, and of course with that comes whole new fields of employment opportunities. The advancement that we see in technology opens up whole new fields that need to employ everything from engineers to factory workers to secretaries. Time and time again, we have been promised new jobs, jobs that will offer better pay, jobs that will make a difference. If we refuse to dream and create, then we will be stuck without new jobs. If we further research and development in these growing fields of science and technologies, new jobs will come naturally. These jobs won't be the jobs at Walmart or the fast food joints, but these will be good, paying, decent jobs, jobs that every person deserves. It would now seem that science is the backbone of nearly everything in our society. Without science, we don't discover or invent new technologies. Without new technologies, we don't see new jobs opening, and without new jobs, our economy goes stale. It's the trickle-down effect of the modern life. We are a modern scientific and technology-dependent society, and we need to embrace that by continuing to learn and continuing to push ourselves. If we don't, then our whole civilization will stagnate. The future isn't scary, we just have to reach out and grab it. For now, the greatest steps we can take in grabbing our future is by taking our next step into outer space.